Good Thursday morning. Thank you for joining us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Megan McPherson. We have some major breaking basketball news this morning. Naz Reid is heading to the Hornets. According to NBA insider Shams Charania, it's part of a major deal that sends the Hornets guard LaMelo Ball and Josh Green to Minnesota. The Timberwolves also giving up several picks in future drafts. This means the Timberwolves will have both the number 1 and number 3 picks from the 2020 NBA draft. That's the year Anthony Edwards and Ball were both drafted. We will be following this story all day long, so stay with Kare 11 for the very latest. Developing right now, 3 people are in custody after a fire at a vacant Burnsville school. It happened at the now permanently closed Metcalf Middle School, which is about 20 minutes south of the Twin Cities. The building has been empty since 2020 because of declining enrollment. Fire crews on scene say they had to break windows and get into the building to put the fire out. When they arrived last night, they say there were not visible flames outside the building, but there was fire inside. They spent several hours trying to put that fire out, and in total, 7 departments responded to help put out the flames. Right now, it's not clear the extent of the damage inside the building or if the fire was set intentionally. And this morning, we're expecting to learn more about a murder case in downtown Fargo from last summer. The 22-year-old suspect was arrested in Minneapolis in just the last 24 hours. We're not naming him since he hasn't been charged yet. He's accused of shooting and killing 19-year-old Azim Holmes, as well as 2 others who survived. Today, the man accused of firing at deputies during an hours-long standoff in Minneapolis will head to the Department of Corrections for a hearing. A department spokesperson tells us the hearing will go over whether or not Tyler O'Brien violated the conditions of his prison release. This is video from that scene earlier this month. Charging documents say O'Brien fired 15 to 20 shots through windows and doors as deputies tried to serve a felony warrant. A 3-year-old was also in his apartment when the first shots were fired. And we now know when admitted assassin Vance Boelter will be sentenced in federal court. A judge setting the date for July 23rd. Earlier this month, he pleaded guilty to 6 charges tied to last year's lawmaker shootings. As part of his plea deal, he will not face the death penalty. Instead, federal prosecutors want Boelter to serve 2 consecutive life sentences plus 40 years. Now, as for the state charges, Minnesota will pursue 8 felony charges, including first-degree murder. President Trump pausing a bipartisan congressional win aimed at making housing more affordable as he tries to force Republicans to get behind an election overhaul bill that requires proof of citizenship. All this as the president looks ahead to America's 250th birthday with a rally at the Great American State Fair. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Hi there. President Trump has repeatedly said he doesn't want anything to get through on Capitol Hill until the SAVE Act is law. On Wednesday, he put that to the test while testing some patience among Republicans in Congress.
Overnight, the kickoff to the Great American State Fair, a 2-week celebration on the National Mall for the nation's 250th anniversary that President Trump began by touting his policies.
We have the largest economy on earth. We have the strongest military on earth.
A military band performed after several musicians canceled over concerns the event would be politicized. That followed a Capitol Hill clash when President Trump abruptly canceled signing a bipartisan bill to make housing more affordable by restricting big investors and loosening building regulations. The president pressuring Republicans to pass the SAVE Act first, an election overhaul that requires voter ID.
What he said is that the Save America Act is exponentially more important than the housing bill.
Republicans balking at blowing up the filibuster to pass it, as Democrats argue the bill puts too many restrictions on voting.
Republicans would rather make it harder to vote than easier to live in an affordable way.
President Trump made the case for his priorities in a private meeting with Senate Republicans, where Louisiana Republican Bill Cassidy, who just lost his primary to a Trump-backed challenger, acknowledged a confrontation with the president over the Iran war.
I'm not going to be bullied when I'm trying to get answers for the American people.
Senator Cassidy later got a White House briefing and then voted against a largely symbolic resolution to curb President Trump's war powers in Iran that failed in the Senate, one day after a similar measure passed with Cassidy's backing.
House Speaker Mike Johnson said he would speak to President Trump about signing the housing bill that Republicans do want to run on in the midterms, while the speaker stressed the importance of the SAVE Act that also requires proof of citizenship and puts new limits on mail-in ballots, one of Democrats' key objections. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
This morning, two Somali American sisters say they're ready to file a police report after a now viral TikTok video appears to show a Shakopee couple yelling at them. Take a look.
Did I steal your money?
You steal.
That video has nearly 2 million views on TikTok. The sisters say they were leaving a home tour in Shakopee when the couple approached them and said, "We don't want you guys here," and accused them of stealing money.
To just take a group and say the entire Somali population does fraud, it's very heartbreaking. We've been in this country, we were born and raised here. Our parents have been here for a very long time. We don't own any businesses. We are very hardworking individuals.
In a statement, the couple's lawyer said, quote, "This incomplete video is being used to coordinate a cyberbullying campaign against an honest, patriotic, kind, and hardworking family." The statement goes on to say the video lacks critical context, arguing the couple was provoked and had racial slurs said to them. We also have to get to breaking news out of Venezuela. The death toll is rising after a pair of powerful earthquakes hit in just the last 12 hours. Right now, we know at least 164 people have been killed. Nearly 1,000 are hurt. Audrey Russo has the latest.
Good morning. Rescue crews are working around the clock in Caracas. Overnight, new images coming in of the aftermath, including this video right here where onlookers applaud a survivor being pulled from the rubble. You can see a little thumbs up there. And the earthquakes coming in at a magnitude 7.2 and a 7.5. Now, Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, is declaring a state of emergency in the country. The 7.5 quake is Venezuela's strongest earthquake in more than a century. Right now, the nation's main airport is closed and natural gas service is knocked out in parts of the country. A journalist in Caracas says this is only the beginning of what's expected to be an overwhelming crisis.
It's actually becoming a sad hour for Venezuela. It's actually becoming a really sad moment, and I suspect that the next days are going to be really overwhelming for all Venezuelans.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is announcing that the U.S. is immediately deploying search and rescue teams, medical aid, and humanitarian assistance to Venezuela. Back to you.
This morning, a data center proposal faces controversy in a small northern Minnesota town. Google hosted a packed open house last night for its proposal in Hermantown, which is about 15 minutes west of Duluth. The nearly $2 billion data center would be designed to support artificial intelligence. Many in favor of it support the jobs and economic impact it would bring to the area. But others are worried about its potentially massive electricity consumption and its water usage.
To me, we'd be better off without them.
Many years ago, we were begging Google to come and invest here, and today I think we should be thanking them for coming and investing here.
Leaders with Google say they hosted the event to try to be as transparent as possible about the process. It's the last big day of competition at the Special Olympics USA Games here in Minneapolis. Every event is handing out hardware, including basketball, pickleball, and golf. Minnesota is up to 49 gold medals so far. Tomorrow, there's just a handful of events and then the closing ceremony. Minnesota will pass the torch to the Ohio delegation as Cleveland will host the next USA Games in 2030. Trending this morning, St. Paul police are recognizing the best in their ranks, honoring the department's first ever Volunteer of the Year. The department says Alan Madison, who's been part of St. Paul's Reserve Unit for more than 40 years, has shaped generations of reserve officers. Leaders say he's played a vital role in training members, coordinating operations for special events, and he's also shown a deep dedication for public service.
We've made a lot of friends throughout with the reserve program, a lot of camaraderie. We've helped with different academies as well as a regular academy, and we'll be doing that tomorrow again as role players, so which we really enjoy being asked to help with them.
St. Paul Police also recognized its officer, detective, and professional staff member of the year. Stick with us. More news and weather is coming up after the break.